4 days since the storm hit. 5 days without sunlight. 3 days with the power grid dead. And 3 since it's been safe to leave the storm shelter. 3 days of no contact with the world outside. 3 days locked beneath the earth, hiding from the storm above. But I soon learned that the storm itself was nothing to fear. No, not the storm, but those things within it we would never understand. Was the first time I heard them. Or maybe it wasn't. Perhaps I've only just now consciously been aware of their sound. Painful sighs. Livestock that's gotten loose, I thought. Wandering in fear of the storm. Fleeing while I hide. Rations are wearing thin. Enough for 2, maybe 3 days. Power enough for tomorrow. I wondered why help hadn't come yet. No emergency broadcasts. No signals at all. Once sheltered, I'll see nothing outside but darkness. Nothing but darkness. And soon, I would be left in darkness. It's only a matter of time before the power shuts down. Stepping into the rain is inevitable at this point. Maybe help had come. Maybe I'd missed it. Maybe they hadn't found me. Just one cigarette. What I really needed was interaction with anyone. Any other voice beside my own. Finally came. Not the voice of a savior, no. No, the voice of...
KDK-12 to anyone who's listening. Emergency. Over. Emergency. KDK-12 to anyone who's listening. Over.
This is KDK-1 to KDK-12. I can hear you. Are you in Murnau? Over.
I'm still sheltered. Are you help or one of us?
I'm sheltered. I'm running low on food and power. After tomorrow, I'm gonna have to make a supply run.
It's dark out there. You shouldn't leave your shelter.
And sit in the dark and starve? I'm alright. It's just to my house and back.
wait while you can. No sense going out before you have to. Let the supplies and power run dry before you make your way out. Do you have a light? Flashlights, I mean. Anything aside from your shelter's power?
I'm in no rush to get out there myself. I have flashlights. And by the looks of it on the cam, I'm gonna need it. All I've seen is darkness.
You haven't seen anything?
No. Every now and then, a flash of light might illuminate the skies, but only for a moment.
Keep watch of the outside.
Why?
Have you heard anything?
On the radio?
No, outside your shelter. Have you heard anything besides the storm outside?
Livestock. I've heard animals fleeing from the storm, but that's it. Did you hear me?
Do you have a weapon?
What? Why?
Take something with you outside when you leave. You said there was livestock outside. Lord knows they can be dangerous when they're frightened, especially in the dark. Whatever you have that you can use just to... if it can serve as a weapon, just take it with you.
Did you see something?
No, I don't have a way to see out there from inside. Just watch your cameras. How many do you have? Just watch all of them.
One. But like I said, I haven't seen anything but darkness on it. Is there something I should be looking for?
I can't say. Now look, I know this doesn't make any sense, but you'll know when you see. I just hope you'll see them before you go outside.
See what? What am I supposed to see? Hello? Hello? What was it that he saw? What did he want me to see? He told me he couldn't see anything from his shelter. Maybe being locked in a room with nobody had finally made him crack. In any case, I might as well drink the rest of what I had. I thought I'd have more once I came back a day from now with more food and backup power. But I soon found out that Eli wasn't crazy. He had good reason to fear stepping out there. Reasons beyond the thunder and rain. Reasons beyond livestock let loose. Once sheltered, I'd seen nothing outside but darkness. But today was different. Today, I saw something in the rain. seen that night. How could I while hearing them? Was it even night then? Night seemed eternal here. With darkness not just within but without, and no way for me to keep time. Expecting to stay for less than a night, I hadn't taken a watch. Nothing I brought even had a clock. These small inconveniences I found endlessly. Anything in effort to outrun my thoughts. I was now faced with an impossibility. Remain here, fall into darkness, and swiftly burn through my supplies, or venture out into the rain. The rain with those things. The giants I desperately wished that I'd never seen. I wondered how Eli knew of them. He had told me already that he had no way of seeing out from inside the shelter's walls. That's when I realized he had to have left his own shelter. That's why he's so opposed to me leaving my own. I had to contact Eli again. I had to find out what he knew. His call sign I did know, and I held out every hope I had that he kept his radio on.
KDK-1 to KDK-12, KDK-1 to KDK-1 to K. Just, can you hear me? Repeat.
This is KDK-12. I hear you.
I saw them. What are they?
I don't know. I just know that they're dangerous.
How did you know about them if you couldn't see outside?
I was late to shelter. The winds were low enough that for the first few days I stayed in my home. But even now the winds aren't that high, but I wasn't the only one who stayed outside. Neighbors too. Until those things came. We rushed out thinking that they were survivors who'd been hurt. They attacked us, dragging anyone they could back with them. Barely half alive. And I locked myself away.
Survivors. I don't understand. How did you confuse them for survivors? They're massive balls of flesh floating in the air. How did you confuse them? Did you hear me?
You've seen something else.
Something else? You mean you didn't see the same thing?
I didn't see floating giants. No, the things that attacked us looked human. They were deformed. They had cancerous growths and lesions all over them. But human. Whatever you saw was different.
things that you saw, can they get inside?
I don't know. They were already dragging others away when I took shelter. And they didn't try to follow me in. I don't know if they saw me. I don't know if they could see me. If they even had eyes. But the way they tore into homes. Now that you say that there's others, it's hardly been over a day, but now I wonder. Maybe waiting here is just waiting to die.
Waiting here to die. And for help that may never come. Waiting for those things to get inside. If I even survived my supply run, I'd only be buying time at best. I couldn't stay. I couldn't wait here to die.
How do we get out of here?
I have a truck. It's a 4x4. We won't have any trouble getting through mud or anything else.
The noise, wouldn't it attract them? Or the lights?
We should be able to drive right over the little ones that look like us. The ones you saw? I don't know if we'll have to worry about those, but this is our only shot.
We can go out on foot too. It would cause less attention.
This storm could reach for miles outside of town. We'll need something that can move us faster than on foot. And a truck's the best bet for a vehicle that's not gonna get stuck out there.
How do I get to you?
Can you make it to the gas station?
I'm right by it.
Bring a weapon in case you run into any of them on the way.
Tomorrow then.
We should head out now. Every moment we wait is another moment those things might come for us. I can be there in less than 10 minutes.
I'm hungover.
What?
I said I'm hungover.
You said you were low on supplies and power last night. How much longer do you have left for?
Less than an hour.
Either way, you'll have to leave your shelter today. Better for escape than supplies.
Alright. I'll be out there in 10 minutes.
I'll see you then.
Several things raced through my mind. Or rather, trudged their way along in my impaired state. Not the least of these was my need for a weapon. Maybe in my home, but knives would allow them to get too close. Whatever the ones Eli saw were, I wouldn't want them getting too close. Whatever I found for the task, it would have to be soon. I was afraid he might leave if I arrived too late. He might assume that I'm dead. Killed by one of those things in the rain. Those things which I would now face. Darkness was all I could see, with no hope of penetrating it. I gripped my nearly useless flashlight like a child holds his mother in fear. So much to fear. But I'd finally decided on a weapon. Something quick to retrieve and already outside. I had only to find it now. If I could find anything at all. I had lost all sense of direction. I had only the ground beneath to guide me. I'd found it. An unfinished project. Abandoned even before the storm. Useful by providence. The cold steel in my hand reassured me. I no longer felt defenseless in the rain. Now, to the gas station. Just to the edge of the street. My confidence continued to grow as I reached the road. Animal terror seized me. I no longer thought of reaching Eli. I no longer thought of returning to my shelter. I thought only to run from the unspeakable mass of diseased bone and festering flesh which had been before me, from whatever else now chased me. I dared not look back. Even in the darkness, I feared what I might see. But the choice was soon no longer mine to make. Stood there, terrified and bloodied, no longer sure of where I was, even less sure of where that thing was.
Walk back to me! I told you not to turn your back to it!
KDK-12!
Get in!
I
It's Eli, by the way, KDK 1. I don't think I caught your name.
Logan.
You passed the gas station, by the way.
Have you seen the big ones?
They have faces. You didn't say that they have faces. You know, I think something about the storm turns people into those things.
Did you see something?
Something like what?
Besides what we've seen? Not the big ones or the ones that look like us?
Have you?
No, I haven't.
We'll bring back help from Fossberg.
I'm just here to get out.
You just leave everyone back there?
They wouldn't come back for me.
Well, I'm coming back. I've already started getting you out.
When we get out, I'm having a drink. I'm staying outside Murnau. I don't need to come back to this hellhole.
Shit!
At first, I didn't understand why they had suddenly left us. But as we sat, bathed in the warm, orange light, and beginning to feel the heat of the fire, then I knew. These things belonged in the bitter, cold darkness and soaking rain. Fire was something else. A warm and dry light. Fire, I thought. Fire was how we would escape unscathed. We had already left the boundaries of Murnau, and the storm still hadn't lifted. Somehow I had hoped that the rain would reach no further than the edge of our small town. But there were fewer of those things here. The large and small ones alike. And I thought that if they were truly once human, as Eli had guessed, that I should see none at all. Almost no one lived between Murnau and Fossberg. Yet still those things lurked within the darkness. We had been forced to stop more than once, driving them off each time with the road flares which Eli had kept in his truck. And as we continued to drive in the rain, I felt as though we only moved further into the storm. And I worried what would become of us once the flares ran out.
We should be halfway to Fossberg by now. If this rain doesn't let up, we'll have to go through and onto the next town.
Fossberg is bigger than Murnau. If you're right, there's gonna be a lot of them. We should try to go around.
I don't know the roads well enough to go around. If we have to go through, I'll keep to the edge of town.
I hoped against hope that that wouldn't happen. That Frostburg wasn't in darkness. That escape was near. Escape. I couldn't have fled Myrna on foot, and my car wouldn't have made it out to the flooded roads. Looking out into the vast darkness beyond the window, I realized that I owed Eli my life.
Why didn't you leave me in Myrna?
Why would I leave you?
You didn't even know my name. This only delayed you getting to safety.
Look, I helped you because I could. It's what any decent man would do.
Yeah, well, we're not all good men.
But every moment we can choose to be.
I wanted to hate him. I wanted to hate Eli because I hated myself. I felt shame. The lie I told myself to justify not going back, that no one would have done the same. It was crushed before I had even told it, shattered as soon as Eli offered me a way out. I wouldn't have done the same for him. But to Eli, it made no difference. He was going back, and my intent was to leave them all to die. To die in that very same darkness that I would have died in. I longed for the relief of sunlight, for the darkness to give way, and for the nightmare to end. Soon the darkness would give way to light, but not from above, not from the sky, and not from sunlight at all.
What the hell is that?
Shit.
We can't go around. Ground's been soaked through for days. The truck will sink in all this mud.
We don't have enough flares to go back.
There's too many of them to drive through. All the noise will just bring them down around us. It'll be too late for the flares then. They'll just surround us and wait for the fire to go out.
So we have to walk. With 2 left.
Well, that's an hour of fire. That'll keep them off of us for a little while.
And the light.
I don't know. But with how many of them there are, I think we might be walking right into the heart of this.
We need to go around.
So we can trudge through all this? How long do you think we'll last if we can't even run?
We'll use the flares.
How long do you think it'll take for us to go around? We don't even know how far back this thing goes. We'll move slower, go further, and risk the flares burning out.
All right. We'll have to go through.
I felt myself once more holding tightly onto everything like a fearful child. continued to run, I began to hear a voice. Only not a voice. Like a thought in my mind. But not my own. It hated the warmth of fire. It hated my approach. Fleeting thoughts raced through my mind. Desperate, hate-filled pleading. I could feel myself dying, and I knew that nothing I did would change that. I felt pain in my bones, organs tearing. And then the pleading stopped. I thought of Eli then. Even in death, he chose to help me. Even in death, he chose to be a good man. I wouldn't be able to come back for those people, but I could still try to save them. I could feel its panic as my own. Every